Hey folks, Steve P., creator of White Tiger Tantra, founder of School of Steve P. We're going to kick off, got a whole bunch of questions that came in on the blog that we want to answer about how I got started and all my experiences with this. Basically, I got started back in the 70s, and I was really exploring a lot of different options. I lived with multiple girlfriends. I lived with one girl, 2 girls, 3 girls, and all that. At the peak, I lived with 5, and I did that for a couple of months, which nearly killed me. Anyways, a lot of my first interactions with all the sex therapy and all that was, I'd been doing hypnosis, past life regressions, and all this sort of thing, and we were doing well, it was like right in and around the time that we called the Summer of Love up in San Francisco. And there was a lot of really cool things happening, a lot of, just swap parties. I mean, I guess the proper term would be orgy. And it was kind of a crazy thing, it wasn't like the way the movies kind of depicted. It was actually kind of just more chill, and everybody was just kind of cruising. And what I ended up finding out when I'd go to these, like I'd have a couple girlfriends, and we're all just kind of now they call it polyamorous. Back then they used to call it just swinging. And but the thing is that when we did this, we'd go to these big parties, sex parties, and it was actually pretty cool. But then I started noticing that there was a certain group of people that probably shouldn't have been doing that lifestyle because they started feeling really shitty about it. Like guys and girls, they would go over and they would have what they call the sniffler's corner, and these people would be all heartbroken and all this. And calling them snifflers was kind of a little bit harsh, but it was kind of like they accepted it. I mean, they went to sniffler's corner. Thing is what also happened was I kind of got interested in the people over there, being kind of gregarious by nature, and also after you doink so many different people, it's just kind of like so many different women, it's just kind of like, it wasn't really my scene. But I still found the dynamics there pretty interesting. So basically I went over and talked to the people that were sitting there getting their hearts ripped out by this, and I'm just going, well, what the hell brought you here? Men and women. I mean, I know there's supposed to be the big battle of the sexes and different ways that we all interpret this shit, or every component of how life should be, But the thing is that having your heart stolen, wounded, or just beat up is the same whether you're a man or a woman. It just feels like shit. Leaves you feeling like shit, leaves you feeling lonely, leaves you in an abyss of loneliness and trapped in thoughts that keep popping up out of nowhere. Even years later, people find that they're still going through those traumatic experiences, like which should have been resolved a long time ago. What I found out going into these group sex things was I talked to the people that were over there that were really having a bad experience with it. The person that they really loved they were sitting there being forced basically to watch them have somebody else make love to them, and it was just ripping them up. But they would internalize it and blame themselves, saying that well, no, I have to grow up, that's a kid thing, I shouldn't be so selfish, jealousy is this and jealousy is that. And I go, look, if you're not comfortable with a person who enjoys that lifestyle, the swinger lifestyle, why are you doing this? I know the whole part of swinging is to be in an open relationship and all that. Well, that's fine as long as people's hearts aren't being torn out. So anyways, I went over and I started doing some of my hypnosis and different techniques with these people, and that's really where a lot of this, I started developing a lot of these skills in working with people that were just going through a real terrible time. I just felt, you could see they were feeling really terrible, feeling vulnerable, but they were still trying to feel like, why can't I fit in and be cool? Because they'd say, I love all these other aspects of him, or I love all these other aspects of her, But, you know, why do they need that? Why can't I be the one and only? Well, you know, in my own beliefs on this stuff, tribal culture around the world indicates that, and there's studies on this. I forget which university, but there's PhDs that did studies on this. Less than 18% of the cultures around the world believe in true monogamy. Now, if you're listening to this and you're into monogamy, then you're just going, well, piss on that guy. Look, I'm just telling you what the research indicates. I don't care if you like it or don't like it. You know, maybe you need to consider why you have an adverse reaction to hearing that being said. I'm not saying that that's for everybody. What I will say is that in all my years and over 30 years of doing this, what I've discovered is a lot of people that are in monogamous relationships are not monogamous. They believe in serial monogamy, or they believe in milk routing, which is having one person stay at home and one of them's out, you know, being frisky. You know, the point is, if people are honest and straight up about what they want in a relationship, they should be able to convey that with their partner. And hopefully their partner's going to be honest and, you know, respond accordingly, you know, and be honest right back. You know, the point is that when I was working with these people, they were sitting there watching the person that they love, and it was breaking their heart. It was just ripping their heart out watching this stuff. So basically I'd ask them, I go, well, what are you doing here then? You know, let's go take a walk. And I'd be walking all these people that they call, you know, it was Steve and the Sniveler crew, you know, and I just kind of went, fuck you guys, you know. Here's the thing. If people are in a polyamorous or swinger relationship, both parties should be excited and happy that that's happening in order for it to be a healthy relationship. A healthy relationship that's going to be able to last and build with sustained equity. You know, the thing is when one person's doing it because if they don't do it, the other person is going to leave them or they're being forced. That's a real shitty thing. And, you know, nobody has a right to break your heart. Nobody has a right to fuck with you. Nobody has a right to jack with you. And if they do, you should consider what makes you think you need to put yourself in that shit-ass situation to be treated like that by another person. I'm telling you this, and believe, even though you may not want to believe it right now, or you think that's where your heart is, that's where you know, you love this person so much. If somebody's treating you that way, and it's something that you don't want in your life, think about what it's going to be in another 2 years, 3 years, or 4 years out into the future. What if it goes into 5 years? What if you have children? What if it goes into 10 or 20 years? You know, you can't stick your face in a rewind machine and rewind those years. The time is gone. Why not invest the time of your life with somebody who wants to honor your values and your belief system? And if you truly want to be pair bonded like golden eagles, find somebody else who also believes in that. You know, and if you want to be kinky or twisted, I mean, if you want to do polyamory or polyandrics, which is one woman, multiple men, or polygamous, one man, multiple women, do it. But be straight up and honest. If you want to do polyamory, the swinging thing, do that too. But do it and make sure that it feels good in your heart. And make sure that the people you're sharing that experience with, it's also something that's healthy for them. You know, it's not that, ooh, those people are evil, or ooh, they're doing something bad. Get over that bullshit. We're all adults, we're making adult decisions. But having said that, you owe it to yourself to go with your heart. And a lot of these techniques that I'm introducing, I'm giving these away. I mean, these are things that I've used for years with a lot of private clients and, you know, high-end coaching clients. But the thing is that when you use these things, you can use them in the comfort of your own home. Shut the television off, shut the TV, just leave the TV off, unplug telephones, and just go in and go through these processes. And you'll find that you have the ability to heal those wounds. And sometimes it's going to take you a few times, maybe 2 or 3 times, to go through a series of these exercises. And it'll be like peeling away, like the skin layers of an onion. I'm going to tell it to you like this. when you peel an onion, sometimes you'll hit a big thick one and you won't get any tears. And you'll hit one of them little skinny layers and you'll be tearing up, bawling like crazy. But you know what? Take the time. Really invest in yourself to heal that. And if you're listening to these tapes because somebody referred them to you, because you haven't got through the rebounding, dude, just realize this. It's something that everybody goes through. You know, it's how you accept yourself and the behavior of others in your life. You know, so the thing is that don't try to control anybody, but don't let anybody control you. You know what you're going into and who you're going into that relationship with. Again, I'm going to say this. Any kind of relationship you want, whether it's pair bonding or polyamorous or whatever, once you get it set up inside yourself, what you want, you'll be able to find other partner or partners that will join in that. So, but you have to come into what is your own beliefs about relationships, what is your own values, and before you go into a relationship with someone else, heal your wounded heart. I mean, take the time, invest it. You know, people will spend all kinds of time polishing their car, cleaning their house, and they won't take the time, even 5 or 10 minutes or 20 minutes out of the day, to go in and find out what was rooting around in their heart, causing them so much internal discomfort. I'm saying invest in yourself, and I'm giving you the techniques that work and have worked with thousands of people. So please use these to the best of, to the best of the amount of time that you want to invest in them. And then you'll find you'll yield from that investment. There's lots of stories as we go through time, and a lot of the things in especially the traditional aspects of indigenous folks, they do teaching stories. And it's because when you tell it by story, people will take their own meaning and apply it to their own experiences. You know, there's many stories about people who get lost along the way. You know, like Wagner's play about Parsifal and the Flower Maidens, and how the Flower Maidens, as Parsifal was going into the forest on his way to do his work, the Flower Maidens were there to lure him. And as they lured him in, there were snakes there to devour him, and devour his soul. And the little flower maidens went rushing off into the forest. The deeper into the forest the man goes, the more he becomes lost. The more other things, more illusions he begins to hallucinate. The point is, when you know that you are on your chosen path of learning, no one can distract you. No one can divert you. Again, take the time, if you will, to just go and open up these exercises, but they're only going to be useful if you find yourself in a quiet, safe place, put the headphones on, and let them work with you. I've included another exercise here today, and it's called Reversing the Wheel of Emotion. Now, a lot of this relates back to the track where, or the notion that was given to us by Reich, that issues are trapped in the tissues. Well, what we're doing with this one is we're actually using this because it's matters of the heart and healing the heart. It's healing your wounded heart. What's going to happen here is I'm going to show you how to, in this exercise, we're going to teach you how to go in through a simple meditation. It's only a few minutes long. How to reverse the effects of negative thoughts on your heart chakra. Which brings me to another point. In our Western culture, what we do is we forget what the indigenous have known forever. Thoughts in indigenous cultures are treated as living entities. In our Western culture, we think of them as something that's abstract, doesn't really matter. But the thing is the one thought builds with another thought, builds with another thought. Pretty soon you become overwhelmed with the weight of that thought. The thing is, if a thought is something that is about an outgrown behavior, is no longer useful, perhaps it's worth your time to invest in yourself to undo that thought. it'll help you. It'll help you make your way through the life. Different people are going to get different benefits from it, but it's also how often do they use it and how thoroughly do they use it. You know, it's kind of like everybody knows that baths are good, you know, but if somebody just hops in real quick and just barely washes, you know, using soap or anything and doesn't wash themselves, I mean, they're going to get a certain effect from it because they'll get a layer or two of dirt off, but then they get off down the road. The thing with chakra cleansing is it does unpack the emotional baggage that people have been lugging around. But it's also like before you couple with someone, you should chakra cleanse. Whether it's an intimate relationship or a platonic relationship, before you join with somebody else, you should chakra cleanse before and after. It's in that actually came from Hatha Yoga, the technique that I teach, and it's called running your own energy. Again, we are individual spirit beings in these bodies, and when we come into these bodies, it's like, I mean, you want to hop into bed with somebody being dirty and smelly after a long day at work, but people do it all the time without chakra cleansing, and they've got all this yuck from the day. I mean, their body might be clean, but their subtle fields aren't. And it's like, especially if you're a guy and or you're a lady and you're hugging another lady, they'll go, wow, what's going on with you? Something is, you know, there's something. They can tell, you know, and you know, there's some men that are pretty sensitive and are pretty intuitive, but a lot of women really catch it right off, you know. The point is, you want to hop into bed being dirty with the physical body. Don't do it with your subtle fields either, you know, chakra cleanse. The long-term effect of that is you become much more balanced, at peace with yourself, at peace with the world, at peace with people in the world. You know, with a lot of women that we teach this technique to, they've gone through and they go, wow, I don't have to compete with other women anymore. And guys are going, what the hell are you talking about? It's like it's like we're running down this road together, but there's parallel universes going on, you know. The thing is that when they find their own source and they become at peace with it and balanced and harmonious with it, they don't have to compete with anyone because there is no competition for who you are. See, the reality is the real competition isn't against other people. The real competition is with you and what you can accomplish, you know, as far as what your soul goals or what your personal goals are. So the competition is with yourself and what you can accomplish. And of course, without causing harm to others. When I was working with the swingers, and people had limiting beliefs that held them into that they wanted to be in a monogamous relationship. Well, maybe that's a limiting belief, but maybe it's a values belief. Maybe it's a religious or cultural influence on their belief system. The thing is that beliefs are generalizations for what we don't know is real. So the thing is it's basically, if you look at it through a lens that's from a Zen perspective, they're all the grand illusions. You know, the point is what do you want in your life? And you don't have to get real technical or crazy about it. What you have to do is, if you have to think twice about the people in your life, you're having second thoughts. Second thoughts reinforce the first thoughts that you're having. And why should you ever have second thoughts about somebody who's in your life? Especially when it deals with something that's dealing with something intimate. The point is, if you're looking to have a monogamous relationship, but you're with somebody who's into swinging or with somebody who's into menaging, the real question is, why are you there? I mean, it's not a match. You know, it's a lot of times men and women go, but I like all of this and this and this, but I just don't like this certain behavior that they're doing. Oh, let me change them. You can't change people. You know, that's crazy. You can try to make people stop, and you can, you know, try to herd them away from it, you know, but you're not going to do it. You're going to have, it's their way of life. It's their way of being. You can take a tiger and you can shave it, but the stripes are still there, even on the skin. You know, even if you spray paint a donkey and put the stripes like they do in Tijuana, you know, and they paint zebra stripes, but you still don't have a zebra. You still have a mule or a donkey. You know, it is what it is. And it's like the Buddha said, our greatest source of suffering comes from our resistance of what is. What is. You may not like it. You know, you may not like that some people act a certain way, or some people are a certain way. But you trying to push up and resist it isn't going to change it. At best, what they'll do is they'll start lying to you about it. You know, so, and the thing is that you already know that. Everybody knows this. You know, don't change people. Instead, it's a lot easier finding somebody that wants to be on the path you're on. You know, it's kind of like if you're out chopping wood and you need a four-wheel drive truck to haul the wood out of the forest. But, you know, you just got a great deal on a new Mercedes. You know, that Mercedes is going to be really nice, but you know what? You're not using it for what it's meant to be. Other people have their path in life, and you may have yours. See, here's the thing about relationships. Like, when we come in from spirit into our physical form on the earth plane, you know, we drop into these beings. When your mother and father had sex, it created a vortex. From that comes a spark of the divine that drops into each soul, regardless of whatever your religion is. I don't care. But here's this. The reason that we couple together is because we long for the coupling and the union or the reunion with the spark of the divine. It was Ram Dass who said, people think that they're humans having a spiritual experience when we're actually spiritual beings having the human experience. The thing is, when you understand that we're just moving through this space and time, it's like, find people that you don't have to have second thoughts about, that want to move through this space and time with you. And this point about like where we're two individual beings, we're individuals, and if you're into the monogamous thing, but people are meant to come in together in a relationship and enhance each other's life. Then you pull out, and you still are your own universe. We keep coming back and forth, and you should be in relationships with people that are going to enhance your life, and that you're going to equally enhance theirs. And I don't mean by, you know, like little check marks, like I did this, so now you're going to do that. I mean, but really, be true to yourself and be true to your friends. And when you do that, I mean, I have a lot of lady friends that I don't have sex with. But, I mean, people don't believe that because I also teach White Tiger Tantra. So all of a sudden it's like, oh wow, he must be, you know, getting down with them. No, there's a lot of lady friends that I have that I enjoy their company, and I don't want to have sex with them. I want to be friends with them, and we cruise. They're beautiful people. You know, the thing is that sometimes you're going to find having a platonic relationship is going to be much more profound than having one that has, you know, intimate connections with these people, with certain people. But again, you have to define your boundaries, and you have to define what is it you want. You know, take some real time. Get away from the vibrations of the city and all the noise of the TVs and radios and everything else. Shut off all that stuff and go by the ocean or go into the mountains, whichever you prefer, go by a lake, whatever. Go find a place where you can figure out, when you go to the end of your life, go all the way out and you look back, no regrets. Those are the kind of people, because I'm telling you, life is going to go real quick. You're going to blink in another 5 years, another 10 years. You know, it just goes by quick. Why not share it with people that you're in harmony and in balance, at balance with, rather than being out of balance? A lot of times when people break up with somebody that they were so in love with, so enamored, they totally are just totally into them, and then when they break up, they totally hate them. The thing is that they're spending the same amount of energy to hate them as they did to love them. You know, they're just really passionate people. Passion is a real crazy thing, you know. It's like, People think it's the opposite, that to love somebody and to hate somebody is the opposite. No, it's just complementarily opposite in that one's negative energy and one's positive energy. What you put into there is going to come back fourfold. So the real question is, if you're no longer with somebody, why are you still resisting it? Why are you still renting space in your head? See, if you keep letting that stuff bounce around, I mean, walk down the street, watch people. You'll see the people that are walking along just miserable, just muttering to themselves, or just, having nasty little conversations, or, just all the way not feeling too damn good about it. Here's another thing, a real quick thing about what people do when they fall in love. When people fall in love, they seem to just totally associate. Associate means it's as though you're looking out through your eyes at that person. They're right in that moment. And it's kind of cool because when you're in that associated state and you're embracing this other person, oh, she snores or he snores. That doesn't matter when you first get together. Oh, well, they didn't always wash their feet, or little things, They put the toilet paper on this way and I like it the other way. They squeeze the toothpaste tube from the middle, I roll it up neatly from the bottom. Bitch, can't you roll it up from the bottom? I mean, that takes at least a month or two for people to get into the little nitpicky shit. The point is that all those little character flaws, the way the toilet paper goes on, the way they squeeze the toothpaste tube and all the other silly shit, really, in the blink of an eye, and that's all we're here, doesn't really matter a damn. The real point is, you need to step back from whatever you're in that relationship for and ask yourself, what greater purpose am I there? And if you're no longer in that relationship with them, for what greater purpose am I still holding on to these negative thoughts? See, part of what I teach, especially at the weekend Healing Your Wounded Heart, is forgiving yourself, forgiving others, and understanding how to have gratitude. If you're not willing to do that, maybe you just need to be pissed off for a little longer. Shut the tapes off, don't practice the stuff down below. I mean, let yourself get real stewed up, pissed off, hate the world, hate everybody in it, hate that ants fly around, there's ants that are picking up all the little scraps, or butterflies humming, going around, hummingbirds humming, birds singing. Be pissed at the world, and see how that makes you feel. Then when you get tired with that shit, then come in and use these. And here's the other thing. When people are really in love with somebody, they get totally associated. They find all the things they like. The things they dislike, they shove it aside. When they go into the other side, the complementary opposite, they find all the things they dislike and put all the things they like, push those aside. So we know how we fall in love or out of love. But you know what? What if you just moved into the center, right in between the thought, and then just held that moment of the presence that are there for you to open with that person. Being totally present, you become a present to them and they become a present to you. That's a real gift in life, presence of mind. It's just a thought, but the thing is, when you allow those thoughts to form with other thoughts, you can allow yourself the time to take time to embrace yourself in a relationship of your own choosing, basically. Because that's what all these tools are really about. They're not there to change someone else. They're there to help people get through where people thought they were stuck. And here's the other thing. You're not broken and you're not fucked up. The thing is, you get stuck, like all people. We're creatures of habits, and the thing is, these will help you get unstuck. So the more you use it, the more powerful and profound your outcomes are going to be. Again, use the techniques and, heal your wounded heart.
Cool. Here's the way this thing works. It's all of us have gone through relationships. I don't care if you've only had 3 girls in your life. Somebody has done something where there was a miscommunication, and you're still carrying that wound in your heart. And if you use this thing, it's incredibly profound. It's very powerful, and it's a way of bringing back it opens up the heart chakra energy.
You guys want to give it a try? We stand up?
Okay, but I need people to pair up. I need, so one person will be A, one person will be B, if we can do that.
Can I do it with you or I need somebody else?
Yeah.
Do it with you?
Unless, you know what? Maybe what I'll do is let me bring the girl up here and let her. Hey, Laura.
Laura.
You want to come up here and do another one of these? And then you guys can do that down there. Come up here, I'll show you this thing. Here's what I'm going to do. We're going to have you guys sit down. I'm going to show you this, and then we can work on it. And if you have questions, I'll be able to float around. Okay, I want you to look this way. Which is better for the camera angles? Probably let you go this way, and I'll get on this side. No, to the back. Sorry. Okay, here's the way this thing works. I do secret therapy. I did a lot of suicide intervention, and so I learned how to get into this stuff with going, you float out to the context. How are you holding on to this bullshit that's making you feel so terrible, okay? And the thing is that what I do is I want to resolve those conflicts. And if you guys do this, if you do it once or twice, that's cool. But every time these things pop up, if you do this and get rid of it, it's like peeling an onion. Some layers are big and fat, and that didn't hurt too much. Then you get to one little thin layer, and you'll be bawling your eyes out. But if you keep doing this stuff, all of a sudden your heart energy. William, come here for a minute. Here's what I want you to do. I'm going to have him not touch you, but touch out about 3 inches from her, and think about it. Go this way, move down about this far, and close your eyes for a moment. Think about something that's happened in your heart that once we resolve this, you'll be better. Your heart will feel much better for it. Okay, you got it. Now here's what I need you to do, William. Step down from here. She's got a lot of this energy here, but she also a little bit of a talker, aren't you? But here and here is where she's holding this stuff. Go down, step. Let me reach over here. I'll tell you later what this thing was. Can you feel where it gets cooled? Mm-hmm. Okay. Here's what I want you to do is I want you to notice, where do you feel it in your body?
Mostly in my stomach.
Right. And where else?
In my heart.
Okay, where else?
It's mostly those two places.
Okay. I want you to feel right out here. It's going to feel a little cool right there. Notice how these 3 spots are connected. And the reason you do this is you go down what they call the center pillar. And if you do Qigong, you know what I'm talking about. But you go down the center pillar, and you'll feel it's not, I'm not saying she's a cold woman. I'm saying that there's parts that when the heart thinks about certain thoughts, it slows these down. In all the ancient ways of being of the indigenous people, thoughts are not abstract. Thoughts are living entities. They're energies, and they affect us in many ways. So let me move on like as though she was just another client. Here's what I want you to do. Notice how it's attached. Got it? Go, bring it all into the heart. Now bring it up between the eyelids and eyes. And then I'm going to move you this way. Put your hands up above eye level. Shoot it into your hands. Open your eyes. Shoot it. Now, feel which way it's turning. Is it to the left, to the right, forward, backwards? Notice what it is. Just feel it. Notice how it's kind of wobbly. Okay, now here's what I'm going to have you do. Just go, stop it. And as it stops, what I want you to do is close your eyes just for a second. Take a deep breath all the way into the tummy. Now exhale and let it spin the opposite direction, except like a wheel that's been freshly trued. Let it go back. Open your eyes. Notice how it's spinning rapidly, going back, and take it all the way in. Take a deep breath all the way down into the tummy. Move this way. Bring it all the way in. Take another breath. Cleanse it out. Perfect. Exhale. And then now, having stopped that which was a problem, faded all the way back behind you, now coming back as a resource. Open your eyes and come back. Pretty trippy. Now, come here. Move down the center of here and feel where the difference is. Her heart's moving out about there, though. It's cool, isn't it? Yeah. Well, you're feeling a lot more heat, and your cheeks are getting color. Pretty cool, huh? All right, thank you.
Thanks.
Okay. I didn't want to turn this into a workshop, but I'm used to doing techniques. But if you guys want to do this, I guess after we get off cameras, if you guys want to go through the exercises, if you have questions, I'll be more than happy if we have time with this.